The squad announcement as far as India are concerned for the upcoming T20 World Cup, that's the one thing on everyone's mind right now, and it can happen anytime now. That's been something that we've been building up to for quite some time now. Remember, 1st of May is the deadline. You're only looking at tomorrow and the day after that, which happens to be the 1st of May. That's the deadline for all teams to be announcing the squad for the upcoming edition of the T20 World Cup. Remember, starting in the 1st of June and 48 crucial hours from an Indian team perspective. Lots of updates coming in, and we are here to be telling you about some of those updates that we've managed to put together here on Sports Day. When does the team announcement happen? That's the first question you could possibly be asking us, as has been reported here on Sports Day earlier as well. 1st of May is what we still expect, but there is a crucial meeting happening in Ahmedabad tomorrow, details of which Shane and I will be disclosing in this particular interaction that we're going to be having with you. And the big theme coming out of this particular meeting, which is happening tomorrow, and this is the buzz around the selection committee right now, and this will sound like a big surprise to you because you thought that Rishabh Pant, Sanju Samson have pretty much sealed the deal, while Rishabh Pant, you could say, yes, is probably one of those who has his name on that list, but perhaps not Sanju Samson. There has been a change of mood. There has been a change of, will there be a change of heart? In fact, there's a change of mood that we sense right now. There are credible reports suggesting that a Dhruv Jurel is now in the talks. So is a Jitesh Sharma. Remember, both those players haven't really had much to show for in the IPL. Jurel getting 50 just about a couple of days back. Jitesh doesn't even have a 50, but even then there is a demand that's been made, which Shane will now be telling you about.
Yeah, so before we get into the demand, it's worth noting a few things when it comes to, of course, the rules, let's say, of this squad announcement that takes place a month before the tournament. First off, the one that is announced a month before is only technically a provisional squad. Yeah. Why? Because you can make as many changes as you want up until this time around. The date will be 25th of May. So 25th of May, you can make an unlimited number of changes. Hell, you could announce a different 15 if it really came down to it, and the ICC rules allow you to do that. After you get to that point, after you get to the point of 25th, if there are to be any changes that need to be made, well, then it's still not a tough process, because then though you'll need to send an email to the ICC intimating them of the change and ensuring that they are aware, then and only then you can make the change, but it's still possible. That being said, more often than not, you'll not see changes made to these squads unless there is an injury concern, which is why there are so many eyes now on this particular selection meet, because again, we don't expect that the squad will be put out right after the selection meet, but we know that the selection meet will be taking place tomorrow, that is 30th of April, and it will be taking place in Ahmedabad. So the major talk now is that we're getting to hear, and why is it that Harshad mentioned that, you know, you're seeing the demand for a Jitesh potentially or a Dhruv Jurel over, let's say, a Sanju Samson. The reason for that, and get this, it's because they finally realized that you might want a lower middle order bat to complement a Rishabh Pant in case you need to go that route. Yes. Right now, the thing with having both Pant and Sanju Samson is that they are top order bats. They're both at best 3-4. Pant has sometimes come at 5, but it's neither here nor there. More often than not, you'll see them batting at the top of the order where they get plenty of balls. However, they are requiring a specialist role, someone who can bat lower down and finish games, which is why Jitesh, despite underwhelming to an extent even in the last few international games that he played and the majority of the IPL, is suddenly back in contention.
In fact, if I was just trying to extrapolate what's happening over here, is what this also tells me, because we're getting to hear through credible sources that the Indian team feels that it's got a lot of top heavy batters over there, which is why this demand of a lower order batter. What this also tells me is the fact that maybe this is a green signal for somebody like a Shivam Dube, because you're looking to anyway fit him in the 15. Somehow many experts have managed to fit him as well. Now what this does is that perhaps if you to just try and dissect what's happening over here, because that demand's coming for a batter in the lower order, and you're talking about suddenly two players who've not really made the headlines in the ongoing edition of the IPL. We've seen 5 weeks now of IPL happen. You've seen about 8 to 9 games from both the batters, but even then none of them scoring the amount of runs that Sanju Samson, who's now, by the way, in the top 6, top 7 as far as the highest run getters are concerned, at a decent click as well, that he's been scoring those runs. But the selectors now have been put in this spot because the team management is of the opinion that they need somebody who can fire lower down. Sanju Samson, Rishabh Pant, in fact a KL Rahul as well, his name was also doing the rounds, but where he possibly misses out is the fact that you're already packed as far as the top order is concerned. There is a Virat Kohli, there is a Rohit Sharma, there is a Yashasvi Jaiswal. Still doubts about Shubman Gill though, because you only can take 15 players, but that's where a KL Rahul also misses out. So just the one front runner who continues to be, as we said at Sports Day, is Rishabh Pant, but otherwise even Sanju Samson perhaps on slippery surface. But all of those decisions will possibly be made tomorrow. Having said that, is the announcement really taking place tomorrow? The answer to that, perhaps, it's something we will all have to wait for, because there is no confirmation, there is nothing from the BCCI that we've heard. I will take you back just about a few days back. We're here at Sports Today. We broke to you that 1st of May is when the team announcement is expected. However, because of this last round of discussion that is now taking place on the eve of the deadline day, maybe the announcement could follow after that discussions happened. Remember, in the last 4-5 days, there's been a lot of churn that's happened. There's been a lot of talk that's happened, because Ajit Agarkar not too long back was here in the national capital on Saturday when Mumbai played against Delhi. It is believed that the two got together after the match and had a discussion of sorts back then. And tomorrow, when all selectors come together, keeping in mind the inputs of the coach, keeping in mind the input of Rohit Sharma, that decision is perhaps going to be communicated to the other selectors, whatever the demands are, and then all selectors who are expected to be there tomorrow will put their heads together and try and formulate that 15, and we'll get to know as the time comes when that announcement is going to happen. So keep the doors open. It could happen tomorrow. We've seen with the BCCI, they like announcing it anytime around 9-10. So let's just see if they stick with the tradition tomorrow as well. Otherwise, no option but to announce the squad on the 15th. But is Sanju Samson being hard done by? I'm sure that's a question that's being asked right now.
See, I mean, before we get into that, and I do have a few thoughts to share on that for obvious reasons, but I think it's also worth noting that the reason why they suddenly feel the need for a lower order bat is because if you look at your existing lower order and the ones who are guaranteed to start, there hasn't been that much firepower recently. Hardik Pandya would be batting lower down. His numbers have not been impressive. There's a Ravindra Jadeja who also features that but Akshar at least has been good. We know that much as we would want an Akshar Patel to be in that spot, it's probably going to be Jadeja, but his batting numbers have also been underwhelming. So you've suddenly realized, I think, that listen, we need someone who can provide that option, because it's only Rinku Singh otherwise.
Exactly. And with Rinku as well, while I hope in personal capacity, if I can say this, that he makes it to the 15, but Rinku as well, because we've all been tracking this for a long time. The one doubt that everyone had with regards to Rinku was that he wasn't playing enough, that he's not had enough game time, he's not faced enough balls. You've seen cameos from him, a 20 run knock, let's say, that came off 8, a 26 that came off 9. We've seen those cameos from Rinku Singh, but in the last couple of weeks, not even that. First half, we still got to see that from Rinku Singh. So that is one thing that sort of goes against Rinku Singh as well, and perhaps that's where the demand and the need also arises from, that you need some backup, lower order batting as well.
I mean,
and it's a fair thought. I think it's a good thought.
It's a fair thought, but how harsh is this on Sanju Samson? I mean, the one thing we've been saying for long is that he needs to go over and above and do the extraordinary to ensure that he can be, there in the Indian team reckoning. This season, he's done the one thing which he's normally not, which has been consistent. The consistency has not been lacking. He's done the job, and now suddenly he's again being sidelined. It's very harsh. Very, very harsh.
If I'm Sanju Samson right now, I don't know what more to do. It's possibly just this time around, maybe just down to the combination. In earlier instances, I could agree that it's about preferences, but this time I think maybe it's about combinations. And as much as Sanju Samson will feel possibly hard done by right now, but as far as the Indian team is concerned, if they are to go ahead and make a choice between the two faces that we have over here in Jitesh and Dhruv Jurel, it will be interesting. I think it will be a step in the right direction. unpopular opinion, as many would suggest right now, because both don't have runs. But by the way, don't be surprised, there are going to be other players as well, and not necessarily batters per se. There will be players that you will be taking on that flight to the US and the Caribbean who don't necessarily have form, both with the bat and the ball I'm talking about. So you're going to be taking some players who not had a good time in the IPL, and it's fair that you carry on with the philosophy that you persisted with for the last 1 year, coming into rather 1.5 years now, by the time that the T20 World Cup will start. If the selection committee can really just go back there, forget what's happened over here, make an exception. This will count as much of an exception, I would say, but can they really do that? That's the big question, and that is something we'll all be looking forward to.
I mean, look, let's be fair. Sanju is the easiest, most droppable player in the team right now. So as much as it surprises me, it doesn't shock me. It's just the sad reality of the way things are.
Yeah. With that, we'll end the stream. In case you're joining us right now, a couple of things that we managed to learn as far as the selection, all important selection committee meeting happening tomorrow in Ahmedabad. We managed to put those details out for you guys, whatever we've been able to put together here on Sports Today. So in case you're joining us right now, do go all the way back. As far as announcements concerned, we're not quite sure if it's happening tomorrow. Day after, of course, is the deadline. We still believe that could be the day, but who knows if tomorrow there's a change of heart and there is an announcement that happens sometime in the second half of the day, as usually is the case with the BCCI. So the countdowns begin. Who are going to be those 15 gentlemen? Sorry?
Most importantly, meeting is tomorrow.
Yes, most important part, as Nikhil says, is the fact that the meeting is happening tomorrow. It could be a lot of brainstorming for all those gentlemen putting their heads together in Ahmedabad. The inputs have been given. Let me reiterate the inputs from the team management, Rahul Dravid, the vice captain, the head coach as well. All of them have put together their demands and their desires from what they expect this squad to look like. How many of those demands are met? What does the final squad look like? We're also getting to know, by the way, that there could be a press conference as well. So it'll be interesting to see what the chief selector has to say with regards to some of the names which will eventually be coming in, and some that will be missing out. Could be raising a few eyebrows here and there. An action-packed next 48 hours. Be here with us on Sports Day. As always, tap that bell so that you know when we go live. You'll be notified the moment that we have that update for you, and much more that goes beyond the game of cricket as well. So for all of that, subscribe to Sports Day. My colleague Shane, my name is Harshit Ahuja. We'll take your leave, but we'll be there as soon as we have all those important updates for you.